All right, Clippers fans, what's going on? Unbelievable game here at Staples Center. Clippers find a way to beat the Boston Celtics 107-104, improving to 10-5. This was one of the best games we've seen all year. Sabrina, just tell me, what did you think of initial reactions from how awesome this game was?
It was just so much fun to be here in Staples Center. Clippers games have this unique little situation where you get a lot of transplants who end up rooting for the opposing team, which kind of makes it feel like a neutral site environment, but such a good atmosphere, just really good fans all around. And other than that one stretch in the fourth quarter where Boston went up by 10, the margin was never really that big throughout the game.
Yep.
You know, both teams really competing evenly with one another. It was just really, really fun.
It was just a great game to watch. It really was. And obviously this was the first game with Paul George and Kawhi, so this place was rocking against a really good Celtics team, by the way. We can talk about them a little bit later if we want to. I mean, that team looked really good.
First place in the East.
First place in the East. But the Clippers, honestly, it almost looked like at the end of that just had more talent because of Kawhi and PG and obviously a couple other guys we'll dive into. But what were your initial thoughts just on the way that Kawhi and Paul George played together in their first appearance?
I thought defensively was a lot more impressive than offensively, which is to be expected. I mean, they blew some coverages. Like there was one play late where Tatum got an open dunk off of a sideline out of bounds, and that really shouldn't be happening. Yeah. But, I mean, there's just so much length together between the two of them that I thought they did a really good job on Tatum and Brown to keep up from getting off throughout the course of the game.
Yeah.
But offensively, you could definitely tell that they have not spent a lot of time practicing with one another. There's not a lot of movement between the two of them. It didn't seem like they knew which plays they were supposed to be running or where they were supposed to be on those actions. And I thought you could tell that there was some discomfort because down the stretch, the Clippers were relying on their tried and true Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell pick and roll.
I thought that going up against Marcus Smart was a huge ask for both of those guys. And Marcus in that first half looked like he kind of locked up Kawhi a bit. I almost felt like Kawhi hasn't seen before that kind of defender. So you got to tip your cap to Kawhi and both PG for going up a guy like Marcus Smart and being able to be successful. But look, the real winner and hero of this game, yours truly, Patrick Beverley. I mean, that was one of the best performances we've seen. I think he actually turned the game with that steal and then ended up hitting the three in the corner there in the fourth quarter. Patrick Beverley did everything. I think he had 14 and 16 boards tonight.
Incredible.
You talked to the Celtics after the game, and even they were like, I can't even believe he did this. We see him as a defensive player. He came out tonight and he won this ball game. Just talk about Patrick Beverley a little bit.
I mean, I guess the theory behind going small is that you kind of expose yourself on the glass, right? But the Clippers don't do that because Patrick Beverley rebounds like he's a power forward.
Yeah.
He just gets everything. I think Doc has said that he believes the ball is his more often than other players do, right? And I thought what was so impressive about Beverley today was in the first half, you could tell he was kind of tentative on offense. There were a lot of open shots that were being created for him because there was so much attention being given to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And he was either passing them up or, committing turnovers out of them or just showing very little confidence in his shooting. And Doc said in his postgame that they had a little powwow at halftime, sort of say this has got to stop.
Yep.
And Beverley hits, I think, how many threes in that second half? At least
double
three,
check.
right? Yeah. And he hits the one to put them up for pretty much the dagger to seal the game. And, I mean, that just shows a lot of guts, a lot of courage,
Here's what I think. When Brad Stevens purposely says, we're going to make Pat Beverley beat us, Beverley takes that to heart. And you could see with his energy tonight, there's definitely been occasions throughout this year where I feel like Clippers fans have kind of wanted Pat Beverley to maybe stop shooting so many threes. He hadn't shot very well. He came out tonight and in a big game, on a playoff atmosphere, a lot of the players were referencing it, shows why he's Patrick Beverley and why he's beloved by this Clippers fan base. Reminded me a lot of Marcus Smart, by the way. Let's talk about the Celtics. By the way, I could do that all day. But Marcus Smart also looked incredible tonight for the Celtics. I know that this is a regular season win and it's not that far into the season, but to beat a really good Celtics team in an atmosphere like this, I do think is character building, and especially in the first game for Kawhi and Paul George.
Right. It seemed like there was that stretch in the fourth quarter, like you said, they fell behind by 10 points. It could have gotten away from them. No one would have faulted them, for losing game to Boston, who only had 2 losses coming into this one. Again, first game with Kawhi and PG, it's just they somehow just find a way to grind it out. This reminds me of those Clippers wins from last year too.
Yeah, I just think, look, the Clippers are continually probably going to have the best players on the floor in all of these games. That Boston team's really good. The Clippers just had too much talent in Kawhi and PG. To have Kawhi, PG, and then have Lou Williams as your third scorer is absolutely ridiculous. The way that they're going to play defensively this year, we all know what that's going to be. The offensive questions are going to continue to arise as they continue to melt. But just to know the fact that you have Lou Williams as your third wheel you're going to win a lot of ball games.
Right, and I thought it was really telling that at the end of regulation, they tried to run a play to get Kawhi a three, and Doc said they didn't quite run it correctly. Like, they started moving at 14 seconds left instead of 8, and so the whole thing blew up, and Kawhi had to take that contested look. And then at the end of overtime, when they needed, to score, they ran a Lulu and Trez pick and roll, and Trez found Beverly out of the short roll, and no Kawhi and PG involved, but other than the fact that I'm assuming their defender stayed home on them.
Yeah. Look,
a nice luxury to have.
it's a huge win. This was a great game. This is why we love the NBA at the end of the day. To be able to watch games like this that go down to the wire, going into OT, really competing hard. Both teams were diving all over the floor. Huge win for the Clippers, 107-104. They find a way to come back and beat Boston. Houston on Friday. So that'll be an interesting game with Russ and Harden coming into town. I'm excited about it. Joe Morgan with Sporting News here from Staples Center.
Sabrina Merchant.
We'll see you on Friday, guys. Have a good night.